multifaceted woman. The woman embracing many titles, undertaking different ventures, and building generational wealth. You are a Jackie of all trades, master of your empire. Enterprise Empress, you are an unstoppable force. Welcome back, Empresses, and thank you for tuning in this week to today's Jackie Show. I'm Sharon E. Coleman.
I'm Natalie Rowe. Hey, y'all.
And I'm Neidy Hornsby.
And we call this the Today's Jackie Show because we are interviewing women who are Jackie of all trades, master of her empire.
Right. We're interviewing multifaceted women from the community. They wear different titles, they have many ventures, and they're building generational wealth.
Our today's Jackie for this week is Delilah Castro. I am so excited to have her on. She is a self-taught designer, entrepreneur, and founder of two companies, Delilah Castro Design and the Delilah Johnson brand. I love when women have multiple companies.
So, Delilah, we know why we call you Jackie, but would you share with our audience all of your titles?
Yes, so I am the owner of the Delilahs Johnson brand, which is a ready-to-wear line as well as a bridal collection. So that's kind of where I started to get into multiple trades there. And then I also started Delilah Castro Design, which is an interior design company. So those are the different hats that I'm wearing. And then, you know, on a personal front, I'm a mom, wife, sister, daughter, you know, I'm a little bit of everything to a lot of people. So I'm trying my best to excel at all of them.
Girl, aren't we all?
Right.
Right. I'm glad that you mentioned, though, a little bit of like the titles dealing with your professional life. It seems that you've done a couple of really cool things, like from buyer to like your own, you know, creating your own brand. Could you like tell the viewers a little bit about the role that creativity played in how you enter all those different paths?
Yes, I would say like my first little seed of creativity or thinking that I wanted to do something in a creative space started in college. And it was with like the extra activities I was doing. So I was on a dance team and in a modeling troupe and a member of a sorority. And in each of those, I always...
You can't pass down. You just tell them what?
Yeah, I was going to get to it later.
What sorority?
I went to Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. And I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And, you know, in all of those spaces, I always found myself in some type of creative role, whether I volunteered for it or it just came to me somehow. So I was always either, you know, making an outfit or creating some type of a backdrop or making a prop. Like there was always something creative I was doing, but I was in school for business and I didn't really think I was going down a creative path career-wise until like near the end. And in the business school there, you have to do some internships. And so when I decided that I wanted to try something creative, I was like, well, you know, the easiest way to learn is if I can get an internship in a creative place. And I was able to get an internship with Betsy Johnson at their showroom in New York. And that's how I was able to get my first little taste of like, oh, okay, this is what this industry is about.
It is the industry.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, Delilah, your internship with Betsy Johnson. Did working and interning with Betsy Johnson, did that also help you to like step out of the creative bubble or box to try different things? Because Betsy Johnson is known for being eccentric and, you know, doing things that you don't necessarily normally think of. So did that help you?
It definitely did. It helped me in not only with just figuring out different ways to step outside of, you know, whatever creative spaces I have been in, which were limited at the time, but also exposed me to like the business side of this creative thing. So the timing of when I went that year, you know, I was up there during the season of like Fashion Week and all of those things, but my internship was long enough that I was able to get into the business a lot. So I, not at just the fashion shows, but like what's going on day to day, like in the showroom on the creative side of things and the business side, what's happening with the trade shows where they're actually like selling product, what's happening with all of the different brands and how they use their like license things. And, I was able to kind of get a view of all of these different layers of the business where on the outside, I didn't even realize it was that complex, or it could be.
So, it's Women's History Month, and our team has majority of women who work for them here at Enterprise Empress. So when I think of Betsy Johnson, I think about how she's like such a big advocate for just woman empowerment and being just proud of yourself and representing yourself through her fashion as a woman. So being that you intern from her, like, what do you feel when it comes to woman empowerment, and what does Women's History Month mean to you?
I mean, for me, women's empowerment has always been something that's important. It started with me early. When I was younger, my mom used to have a daycare business. So that was like the first entrepreneurial thing that I saw, right? Where I was like, okay, she's doing her own, like, I don't really know like what it took to even do that, but I thought it was cool at the time. And then later on, in my field, I was able to really interact with a lot of different women. So like as an intern at Betsy Johnson, mostly women there, and they were doing amazing things. And then even on my internship after that, I think was DKNY, same thing. Amazing women doing amazing things. And then when I even started my career after school, I started buying with Macy's, and it was like 90% women, and they were like running these huge multi-million-dollar like businesses within the company. So it was like I was always exposed to all these women who were doing amazing things. And the coolest thing about it for me was to see them do all those things while wearing all the other personal layered hats that they have, or having other roles outside of the business they were in. Some of them were like on board, some of them, were participating in other foundations. So just to see people not limit themselves and be in these boxes as women, even though they have all this other personal responsibility going on, to me was just hugely motivational. And a lot of the time, I feel like women take on a lot on their personal fronts in general. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you're able to take that on and then still do all these amazing things, like from a professional standpoint. So whether it's your own business or whatever you're doing in your career, to me, I mean, it's just always an amazing thing to see, and it is inspirational. So it doesn't always have to come from like, some huge leader, but literally, like, I feel like every day when I look around the people that I interact with, I'm just amazed by just how much everybody's doing. And for me, it's important to make sure that I continue to also be one of those people, especially now as a mother of a girl, because I want her to know that she can too. She can do anything that she wants to do.
Oh, do you incorporate that in your fashion? And then, because like you had one line that was heroic, right? Mm-hmm. So you incorporate that woman empowerment in any of your lines, or?
I do sometimes. And the heroic one was actually, it came from the actual personal experience. I had experienced a loss of a child, and it shut me down for a while, just emotionally, physically. And then I was able to kind of like get myself up out of that, and not even just on my own, but I also have like an amazing support system of like friends and family members, and just seeing like what I was able to do personally, and then also like in sharing what my experience was and learning about other people's experiences. Or you just learn like most people are going through something in the background and we just have no idea about it. We literally have no idea. And people are doing whatever they have to do, getting it together and walking out the door and taking care of business. Like, we have no idea about the storms that are happening in the background. And so that really was the inspiration for Heroic, because I was like, I feel like women a lot of the times are walking out of the door and putting on like a superhero cape, basically, and going out about their day. Mm-hmm. And you never know all of the other battles that they're fighting in the background, let alone whatever battles they have to fight, in their careers, in order to achieve whatever level of success they want to when they get out into the world. So that really was the inspiration.
I love that. I'm sorry, Neidy. Sometimes you have to put that cape on just to walk out of the bedroom.
Yeah.
You know? Not even out of the house all the time. Sometimes it's just to go and deal with the kids.
Yes.
And deal with, the family and whatever responsibilities you have in the house. Because some days you feel so broken or just exhausted.
Yeah.
And you have to push. So I love that.
So one thing that you said that I absolutely love is this idea that you do have a daughter who's looking to you, right, as the blueprint. And that resonates with me because I now have a daughter too, and I'm also an entrepreneur. So it's, you are modeling for them this, non-traditional way of living, right?
Yes.
So in line with that, could you share with us how you define yourself, right, as a designer, right? How did you boldly step out of the boxes that we all have, right, to be who you are and build what you're building?
I think part of it was me stepping on my own, and then the other piece of it I like to call a push. And it's because there were things that I would do for myself first, or because my natural personality is I'm a pretty private person, or when I'm coming up with something, I like to let that sit with myself until I'm sure about what I think I want to do, and then I'll release it to the world. That's I'm one of those creatives. I really don't want you to see it until I have it all the way together. That's my natural state. But what I found was, with the clothes, I would make things for myself. And then I would start to make things for friends. And then making things for friends turned into so what are you going to be doing with this? And I'm I know ultimately what I want to do with it, but you can tell yourself you're not ready yet. And you'll just keep kind of pushing it to the side. And then it's just but what are you waiting for? You just need to go ahead and take the step. And then
that's the push.
Yeah, that's the push.
Mm-hmm.
So and the same thing with the interior design. It was similar, I did stuff in our places all the time, and I kept thinking, somewhere down the line, I will do something with this, professionally. But for now, it's just a hobby that I'm doing. And then I had friends that were well, can you do something in my house? I need you to do my living room. And then it turned into okay, well, I'll do this one here. And I was doing one, every once in a while. And then it was the same thing, where it was but what are you waiting for? What's the hesitation with? So then you just get this little nudge, and I'm well, you might as well just go all in and do it and see what happens. If you fail, then try something else or figure out how you can start this again. But you're never going to figure out unless you actually do it.
No greater nudge than the pandemic. Huh?
The pandemic was the nudge for the interior design for sure, because I kept holding it off. I literally, for the past 4 years had been doing probably 2 projects a year, because I still had corporate job that I was holding, and I had the clothing business. And so I was I don't have time. I'll just do, one here or there. And then my role was impacted with COVID. And so I was no longer in the corporate space anymore. So I was working on the clothing industry. And then people couldn't have weddings anymore. So I had brides that couldn't even they had their dresses and they couldn't even have their event. There was a lot going on that was slow. So I had this extra time, and I was I guess maybe I'll take on some of these projects that people had asked me about. And then when I started to do that, then it just turned into, okay, now there's more people asking for these projects. So let's go ahead and really do it. And so then I decided to, stop treating it like a hobby and take it seriously and pursue it as a business. So it's been running ever since.
Well, that's a great segue to one of the games that we like to play on the show, which is story time.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, the pandemic really changed a lot of wedding plans for a lot of brides, right?
Yes.
Do you have an interesting or a funny story of one of your brides? She can remain nameless, but you can share with us?
I would say one of the funnier stories of my bride is I had a bride who, when I first had my consultation with her, she was like, I'm getting married. I need a wedding dress, but I hate bridal dresses. And I was like, okay. What does that mean? Like, what do you want to do? It was like, I want to feel like it's my wedding. I want it to be like special, but like, I don't want it to look like a bridal gown. And I was like, okay, like, let's work on this. So I literally had to figure out like, okay, but how can we like still make it like special enough that she's going to feel like a bride? Because she did like some elements that were bridal, but she just didn't want it to be like a typical gown at all, adamant about it. So I was like, so I basically tried to think about fabrics and things that we could use that where they were on the body, it was like more fitted. Because I'm like, anything that is poofy, whatever, she will definitely hate because that means
that's
bridal. And then the other thing that I did was I played with like the cut of her dress. So like it was a lace gown, but the upper bodice I actually cut kind of like a halter top or like a racer shape. Okay. So like a racer back halter type top. So it was like a fancy lace, but it was a little sportier because of how it was cut. And so
I kind of
put it on. What'd you say?
I kind of want to see that. That sounds cute.
I'm thinking that too. I know. Reminds you of like Betsy Johnson. You said, yeah. She would want.
No, I was thinking I would have been that bride, Delilah, because when I was getting married, I didn't want a wedding dress. I was like, I could get an outfit. Like, I don't want a dress. I don't like all of the poofy and all of the lace and stuff. And,
not me. I waited too long. I wanted to be the bride of all brides.
You was Vera Wayne, Neidy, huh? And then
I didn't have Vera Wayne money, but I would have if I could have.
Right. Yes. And I would have if I could have shared. I would have had on Converse. Yeah.
I can appreciate the Converse, yes, because the shoe situation sometimes for the wedding is like,
you got to be comfortable.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it wasn't that. At the end, she was happy, but I have to say, I was definitely a little worried in the beginning. Like, everything I do for you, are you gonna be like, what is this? This is
clients that help you like think on your feet, right?
Yeah.
Sharper for the next guy.
They do. They definitely like push you to be better and to think outside of the box again. So like you might have already thought that you like push yourself creatively, but then if somebody comes like that, you're like literally whatever I have in my repertoire, you're gonna be like, no.
And you never get bored because no two are alike, right? So every experience, every client is a different and brand new experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Delilah, you mentioned off air that you like to give yourself grace as an entrepreneur. And when you have these kind of situations, I'm sure it's like, oh my God, this is a whole nother, style that I did not, think I would have to do. So tell us more about what that means and why it's important to give yourself grace as a designer.
That's something that I'm actively like trying to improve upon because I think it's something that we do for other people naturally. Like, you're allowing other people all the time to make mistakes and to be imperfect. But a lot of the times as entrepreneurs, I think we want everything to be perfect. And you're putting in all this time, you're putting your heart into what it is that you're doing. So you just want everything to go well, like the first time, all the time. And so it's a learning experience for you to realize, like, it probably won't. And if you continue to set yourself up in a way where you think, if it doesn't go perfectly, I failed and now I feel defeated, like you get yourself in this like perpetual cycle that is like, you're always trying to dig yourself out of this place and you're wasting energy that you could be using to propel your business. So over time, I just really had to learn for myself, like the perfectionist in me had to like kind of take a back seat and realize sometimes things won't be perfect, but they will be good enough for you to share. And they'll be good enough for you to take a step forward or to move on to the next phase. And that's okay. And so like, sometimes I have to be realistic with myself and think like, it might be like a deadline has to move or I may have to make a slight change in the way that I was going to fabricate something or what, I have to allow for those possibilities and just being realistic with myself about the fact that it can happen. It's okay. Just figure out what do you do now with the information that you now have that will allow you to move forward. And then even when I make missteps that do go wrong, I've just learned to give myself grace like I would other people, to realize that sometimes I'm going to make mistakes and I just look at it and I'm like, did you learn from it? How did you make the mistake? Yeah. How would you do it differently the next time? And then I just move forward. So like, it's definitely something that's active. Like I'm actively working on that all the time. Because
we have an accountability partner, which is why we implemented this new segment as a part of our shows this year, where we like to bring on a certified expert that not only helps the viewers, but also helps our guests, because you never get too advanced that you don't want someone to continue to pour into you. Yes. So we want to bring on a certified expert for you today that we think you're going to love. So just really excited about that. So our certified expert, Natalie, who are we bringing on today?
We have Melissa Mitchell of ABL Creations. So Melissa is, I was thinking of what Sharon always liked to say, she's a badass, right?
I'll take it. Mm-hmm.
So Melissa was born and raised in Miami, Florida. She is a graduate, like a couple of other people here, of Florida A&M University. Melissa is known for her creative style, her vibrant colors, her unique shapes, and the bold, dark lines that she attributes to her Bahamian heritage. She founded her company in 2014. Since then, she's been featured in Forbes and Vogue and Essence, and Rolling Out magazine, as well as the Huffington Post. She quit her job in February of last year to focus on her own company and her own brand. And we're so excited that she did, because during that transition, Melissa collaborated with Foot Locker and created a 12-piece apparel collection. And she just got back from Egypt and is still here with us with her eyes wide open. So we are so happy to have you with us, Melissa. And I want to say, before I knew of Melissa, I knew of Melissa's work through another former guest, Itita Finch, that we had on the show. Itita wears head wraps all the time. And I didn't realize that those were your apparel that Itita always has. She actually had one on when she was on the show.
Look at that.
And I didn't connect it until today that that's your stuff that Itita is always wearing.
Yes.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Welcome, Melissa. Welcome.
Thank you.
Natalie was just talking about the headpieces, but I don't know if people see behind me. I have some of Melissa's original artwork behind me as well. So yes, we are all rattlers. We are all women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So, we're doing big things over here. But Neidy, you always call Natalie and I the manifestation queen. But you have not met a manifestation empress like Melissa.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, if she even thinks of it, it's like, Melissa's like, yeah, I think I want to go to Africa and I'm going to build art in the sand. And then next week, Melissa's in Africa building art.
I actually did. Yeah.
She is there. So
your ways, Melissa.
What you say?
Right. Teach us your ways.
I'll do my best.
Well, she calls it faith on steroids. And that faith has landed her collaborations with Spanx, Ford Motor Company, Foot Locker. You did Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. You recently with Thriller, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then Triller, I'm sorry, with Triller, right?
Like, it's the Triller thing. Yeah, Triller. Yeah.
Like, she has so many, it's hard to keep up. You're like, man, if you're following her all day, it's something new. You're like, she's just doing it. And Melissa, we want to start you off because we were just telling Delilah how it's not enough to help the viewers, but we want to be able to be multifaceted women who are connecting with multifaceted women who are helping multifaceted women. So what guides your aspiration and bold approach to fulfilling your dreams and this manifestation?
I think much like the conversation you had with Delilah, I am driven by I don't want to say my past, but I think about like the tragedies that I've experienced, the sadness that I carry, all of those things, and kind of seeing people around me that I've lost, anything that made me sad. I'm really big on legacy, right? I think a lot of times, and especially coming off the hymns of coming from Egypt, our ancestors focused on life, but they also focused on death. And I don't say that in a morbid way. They prepared for a life after they were gone. And I think when I lost my father, I was really, really focused on what would I want my legacy to be. And so every single day I max out all 24 hours, even if I sleep 10 of those hours. I think it's important that you create something that will be memorable as you leave the earth. And so much like Delilah, my Taurus line sister sis, we work so hard because we know that life is fleeting. We know that life is precious. We know that things can be taken at the heartbeat, whether it's, someone we love or whether an art, something artistic. I think that when you focus on how you want to be remembered, my task and my vision is just bigger than just today, right? So, I mean, literally going back to Egypt, since I'm fresh off of it, going back and seeing what they were able to create just in their lifespan, just being remembered and being understood, it goes beyond the natural, like, if we live to be 100, our life really begins after we leave. And so that's, for me, that's always been my focus. And so as I've gotten older, I really, really am excited that I'm able to leave breadcrumbs for people to follow, to understand that they too can have the same greatness to their names.
I was just listening to TD Jakes on Instagram, and he was saying that a lot of the blessings in your life are generational. And a lot of what you're doing now is blessings for the next generation. Like, it's not for the now. So the blessings we're receiving, our ancestors prayed for that. And the blessings that are coming from our work is going to be bestowed upon the next generation. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know how to follow that. That was amazing.
I try not to be too deep, but it is what it is.
No, that's why I love this show. I say it, I think I've said it on every show. The women that we interview really do pour into us, because the idea of thinking about our work as our legacy, we don't really think about that. We're so caught up in the now. So thank you for, bringing things into sharp focus that what we're doing really should, if we do it right, live beyond us. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So speaking of our work, like Delilah, you are an artist, right? And your art has taken you, around the world. You just come back from Egypt. Yeah. But could you share with us a little bit about this amazing opportunity that you have now going on with Foot Locker? Like, what's going on? Tell us the details.
So even before Foot Locker manifested, I quit my job in February. And so I quit because I was like, I can't do this anymore. It wasn't like this whole well thought out plan. It wasn't like by February, I'll do this. It was somebody was talking to me crazy in a meeting. And I said, they must not know who they're talking to. And it was almost like God saying, you must not know who you are. Mm-hmm. And I was like, sitting in this same little, sitting in the same desk. And so it was an aha moment for me, because I was downplaying my excellence by being comfortable behind a desk. So only being seen sporadically, but not really stepping on faith. And so once I looked at my bank accounts and looked at my opportunities, it wasn't really about the money. It was about my faith. And so just a few months prior to that, I had a huge opportunity with an athletic company that didn't go through. It fell through. But I still had all these ideas and sketches. And I said, God, I still want to be a global brand in some capacity. So that's when God gave me A Better Life, the letters A, the letter B, the letter L, as my next brand under ABL Creations. Mm-hmm. And so I had it on a Post-it note on my desk. And so when I sent my resignation letter in, I said, God, maybe this is my next thing. And so no sooner than that, in March, I went to an event with one of my friends, and I was carrying a piece of artwork with the artwork facing a window. So I walked by a nail shop, and a lady comes running out. She said, "Are you Melissa Mitchell?" I was like, "Yeah, And she's like, "I love your artwork." And I was like, "Thank you." She said, "My husband would love to meet you." I'm like, "Child, I don't want to meet these people. I'm trying to go drop this art off." It happens to be the president of Clark Atlanta University. They love my artwork.
Of course.
They love my artwork. And so he was going to buy it. But I said, you know what? I want to give this to you as a gift. It was like a $3,000 piece of artwork. And I got in the car and said, girl, I could have paid my mortgage with that. Why ain't sell this? You know? But I felt really good about giving it. And so one of my friends was there. He said, you a dope person, Mel. Like, I want to do whatever I can to help you. I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm like, child, give me some money. You know, I'm laughing. He says, I want to set you up on a call with a friend of mine who works at Foot Locker. I'm thinking it's like somebody that works in the office, but he happens to be a regional VP. And so he puts me on a text thread. I send him my proposal. And he's like, oh, I love your work. Da-da-da. I'm thinking, okay, another person loved my work. Cool. By Monday, I'm in another email thread and I'm talking to the entire VP of women's business for Foot Locker. I'm thinking I'm up as like a candidate. I am already chosen as a collection that they'll debut in the spring. I mean, in the summer. And so it went from me sowing a seed of a painting that, you know, I could have sold, but somebody seeing my generosity and thought it not robbery to pass along my information to another person to now a life-changing opportunity. And so I tell that entire story because Foot Locker was never really about Foot Locker. It was more so about seeing something in someone and passing along like the torch of excellence, right? Because many times we get opportunities to be like, oh, that's all for me. But why wouldn't I pass Delilah's information on to somebody? Or why wouldn't I call Sharon and say, hey, this might be a good fit? So when you get to the top, there should be a ladder that falls down behind you. And so he did that for me. And so since then, I've done the same for about 5 different people. And so that global opportunity, of course, changed my life, but it also encouraged other creatives to quit their jobs, to create a little bit bigger, to dream bigger, and to really, really step outside of their comfort zones. And so I know that this Foot Locker is my pulpit, almost like I'm a preacher of prosperity and purpose, because I'm like, y'all, we are hiding behind these jobs and other safe opportunities when God wants so much more for us. And so
you need to say that again, though. Like, we all need to hear that. We're hiding behind our jobs. We're hiding behind our kids. We're hiding behind perfectionism, like Delilah said. Yeah.
So many of us. I mean, I'm hiding behind, you know, oh, I'm not married. I don't have kids, so I'm upset about that. Or, you know, I should be this, I should be that. And so all these shortcomings are our own self-created prisons.
Yeah.
You know, we create these boxes and say, oh, I can't do this because I'm like, but why not? You know, I'm self-taught. Everything you see, I taught myself. I'm in here teaching myself how to put stuff on a shirt right now. I'm like, yeah, I'll get it to you. I said, I don't know what now I'm doing. You know,
same over here.
I mean, really, everything, we're in a day and age where everything's Googleable. Like, stop saying you can't do something. And why not call Delilah or Sharon and say, hey, y'all, I'm drowning. Please help me do this. And it's a simple, like, girl, just do this. And so I've been a bunch of girl do this throughout the past year with Foot Locker and just saying, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. And so what could have been like 6 months of not walking blindly has been an hour of hand holding by somebody that knew something else. And so as we matriculate through these different dreams and aspirations, it's okay to say, I don't know what I'm doing. And somebody can help you. And so to do that allowed me to go into another realm. Like today, I left from the Mahogany Hallmark team, always to have my own greeting cards. And now that's probably going to be a reality. And this is just from relationships and just being, like, I put up inspirational quotes every single day. And I've done that for the past 15 years. Like before Facebook was Facebook, I'm always saying, trust God. He loves you. God. The same gift that I would freely and without effort, God is now saying, this is going to be your legacy and cement you, not only financially, but leave you with like the greats like Nietzsche and the Maya Angelou's, because that's something that God gave me.
Yeah. Girl, you got me with my post-its ready to go after this.
I love that. I love that. So I saw, because I've been kind of scrolling through your Instagram.
It's a lot.
You have a quote on there. It says, to be a woman is a blessing. To be surrounded and supported by women is a gift.
Yes.
And I love that because that's exactly what you and Delilah have been talking about tonight. And it's also how Sharon and I have built our platform, how we built our businesses, is women supporting other women. It's how Neidy does her law firm, women supporting other women. So I love the synergy amongst us and all of our different places and spaces that we're all doing the same thing. So, Melissa, you have a book that recently came out. pages from my notebook, which falls right in line with these quotes that I see on your Instagram.
I said I might as well make me some money off of them, give it to you for free.
I love them.
I have hundreds.
So how important is your faith to you as an entrepreneur, as a woman? How important is that?
To be an entrepreneur is to have faith, because we are relying upon our gifts, and B, we're relying upon somebody else to get it. Right? That is faith in action. Hoping somebody like this dress, hoping somebody like these hair wraps, hoping somebody like this art. And so becoming an artist is the most raw experience. It's like literally walking around nude every day because you're exposing your inner thoughts on canvas. I mean, I can barely even look at my artwork because I'm like, oh, I should have brought some more yellow. Oh, I should have did this. And so being able to share that with the world is a very liberating experience. Because I mean, I'm not the best in the whole world, but I'm the best Melissa in this world.
That's right.
And so once I embraced that, I was like, girl, I don't care if I'm not the best. It's still $1,500. You could buy it. You don't have to. Somebody will. So once you release the anxiety of like being the best ever, girl, you'll be fine. I mean, I got a call for somebody to buy 3 pieces today. Like, I don't even advertise. And like, we talked about master manifesting. I set the tone with, I have affirmation, like my lock screen is an affirmation. I have them all over my room, all over my office. And I speak to myself constantly. And so that's how pages from my notebook came about, because those are actually notes to myself that I have shared, you know, on different social media platforms. And I make archive. I'm like, oh, I was too raw with that one. Well, I got to take that one back. And so, so I said, you know what, maybe this will help somebody. You know, one quote will change someone's life. I mean, we quote people's quotes all day, but it's like, once you take a hold of that one quote, it will change your life. My favorite quote of myself is, if you want life to be different, be prepared to do life differently. So many of us want, I want a husband, I want kids, I want a bigger house. It's like, okay, are you ready to share your bed? Are you ready to cook every night? Are you ready to go hide at your husband's office from your toddler? Are you ready to, you know?
No, because that's facts.
that is
I am not able to say yes to any of those things yet. So I stopped praying for that. I said, God, prepare me. My closet collapsed for the 3rd time this week. So obviously I'm not ready to stop shopping. So we gotta be prepared for what we pray for. And so that's just what Pages from My Notebook is really about, is making those affirmations and declarations, because I think many times we think we want something, but we're not able to articulate it, or we don't speak it actively enough. And so, you know, Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision, make it plain. So not only do I write my affirmations, I read them, I say them out loud, I record them, and I play them back to myself. And so that's what that book was really about, which I don't have a secret formula. I just have a lot of faith and I have a lot of consistency. And so that's what the book was really born out of.
Faith on steroids.
Yes, that's all it takes.
What I love about both you, Melissa, and Delilah, and the fact that you guys are on this show together, not only that you're self-taught, but both of you guys are authentic and unapologetic about who you are. And I think that has a lot to do with why your brands have done so well, because Melissa is Melissa. I have known both Melissa and Delilah for a long time. And I remember in high school, Melissa and I went to high school together. And I remember they told us to wear all black for an actual AKA event, actually. And we wasn't even AKA, it was little Pearl Essence. Yes. And they was like, we're all black. Melissa showed up in all black and some hot pink tights. And we was like, we said all black. She was like, you ain't say nothing about the tights. You ain't say nothing about the chocolate on the paper. And that is the same Melissa. Like you said, Natalie, in the intro, bold, you know, having bright colors, being authentically herself. And that is exactly what Delilah does. And I think having you guys here together, I think about Kanye West and the guy who was like, I'm going to videotape this. And now, years later, now he's on Netflix and he made, millions of dollars off of something he did. He believed in $30 million after something he believed a long time ago. So I'm believing that this moment with all of us right here is going to be a $30 million moment. So, with that, with your authenticity, I want to play a game. Neidy, we have a game, right? Because we want to bring out their authentic styles and their, you know, how they do their vibe. So let's do this game so we can.
Yeah, the game is called That's Me.
Okay.
And we're just going to put up some styles on screen, and then each of you will say, that's me or that ain't me. Okay? So that we can get a sense of your style. So let's do it.
So the top or the bottom? Are you Melissa? Which one? Are you the top or the bottom?
The bottom. No, the top.
I'm the bottom. She definitely is the one on the top.
Yeah.
Oh, Melissa, that's you on the top, and Delilah, that's you on the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Neidy, which one are you?
I'm definitely the bottom.
Me too.
I'm actually both. I could go either way. That's what's crazy.
And the only thing missing on the bottom for me is color, but like I'm more minimalist.
No, I don't need color. As you can see, that I'm definitely the bottom. I don't need color.
Okay, let's see the next one. Okay, are you the regal bride or are you more of like the stunning leg out bride? Oh, this is actually bridesmaid. Your bridesmaid. You want your bridesmaids more of the right, or you want your bridesmaid more of the leg out?
I'm gonna say the left.
The left, you the one with the leg out?
I don't like either one.
But if you gotta pick one though.
No, Neidy said
you don't have to pick one.
I don't think I like either one. I don't think I like either one.
Melissa, Neidy
look
said
hot.
that's me. So you saying that ain't me? Delilah said the one with the leg out.
If I gotta pick one, I leg out. It wouldn't be this exact thing, but that moment I would have that.
Yeah, for a wedding, I can just see sweat. I can just see body odor. You know, I just think it's a lot. The other one, I don't know. I don't think I like either. And I don't like the flowers on the blue dress.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
And it's like a black corset built in. And I have on blue to nerve me. But yeah, I don't really like it.
So yeah, the blue, it was too much for me. There's a lot happening. It's too much for me.
I don't like the cut.
If it was only the blueprint, I mean, it's not my favorite print, but I could tolerate it better if it didn't have that.
But you're saying this is for the bridesmaid, right?
Yes, the bridesmaids.
Yeah. No, she ain't gonna have none of that out. They're gonna be in a pantsuit, covered up, out the way. I'm the only one that's a star, period. So no, neither one.
So Delilah, you're gonna have to create something custom for Melissa.
Clearly.
Let's go to the next one.
Clearly.
Oh, I'm the left.
Okay.
I actually like the right. I feel like the left, I don't like the shoes. But I like the you say what, you do like the shoes?
I don't like the shoes, but I like the whole top. The top situation.
That's funny because I like the right. Maybe because I don't know the message of the clothing, but I like the right for some reason. I guess I like because I actually had on an outfit today with like a little bit of stomach, a little bit of shape, and a jacket. And I could see a real cute hair wrap with that.
So both have, designs on it, and we thought about the whole wearable art and how both of y'all, Melissa, with your art, how it's transformed to, wearable art, how you turned it into a fashion line. So, Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so are you the chic, I'm the boss, I pay for everything, I'm here to look cute, or are you the, let me put these tennis shoes on because I'm going to be working behind the scenes type person?
Anybody that knows me knows I'm the left.
You're tennis shoes, girl.
All the time.
So today I had on a combination of both. I had on all blue, but I had on designer sneakers and my purse the same way. So I'm like a merging of the two. I think I ditched high heels maybe like 5 years ago. Because I've been having to be like on my feet at shows. And I was like, why am I sacrificing my ankles for these people? So I have over like 100 pair of sneakers now. And like, that's now my signature where like, I'll be in a gown and have on sneakers.
That's what made me do it too, honestly. Like being in too many places where it was like, this is a lot. And I'm not doing this anymore.
Taurus. Yeah. Yeah.
Natalie, that's you, because I think I'm like I'm the pink and green one, and Natalie's the black and white one.
I am absolutely the black and white one. I'm the boss, but I'm comfortable as the boss. Yeah.
And I'm at the end saying, oh my God, Natalie, I got to sit down before cleanup.
Which one, Neidy? Which one?
I think I'm the one in the sneakers, but I like to believe that I'm the hot one in the pink.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, the next one. Are we a traditional gown, or we want to go with something unique or different?
I've already designed my the pattern for my wedding gown, so I'm definitely not wearing white.
You better come through.
My ancestors did not wear white, so why are we wearing white? No, sorry, Delilah, but
no offense. I ask people the color. I ask people the color. Okay. I don't assume white for anybody because I am the same way. Like, I feel like, really, I don't know who wrote the rules on what the wedding gown is really supposed to be, but my belief in your wedding is that when you walk down the aisle, you're supposed to be the best version of you, whoever that is. And so for some people, that does not mean a white dress.
Yeah.
This is true.
That is a great point. Let's see the next one.
Oh, that's
it's us.
Oh, that was the last one. Just all of them.
I choose me.
Right. We choose ourselves. So I could go on and on tonight listening to Delilah and Melissa. Like, this has been so empowering.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah. I could not think of a better way to close the month. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining us, as we close Women's History Month. We just want to encourage ourselves and our viewers to, be yourself, wear your crowns, and when it tilts, just put it right back in place, right? Because that's just part of the journey.
Literally.
Thank you so much again.
Find them, Neidy. Where can we find you?
Yeah, where can we find you guys?
So you can find me on Instagram. You can find Delilah Johnson brand for the clothing and Delilah Castro design for the interior design.
And I am on, my website is really easy. It's melissaAmitchell.com. And my Instagram is ABEILLE Creations on Instagram. And you can just Google Melissa Mitchell and I'm popping on Google.
And you can find your designs in Foot Locker now.
Oh, of course. Once you Google me, it's up. So,
Yeah. Neidy, where can we find you? Where can you be found on social?
I can be found on Instagram at Guard Your Genius.
Wonderful. And Sharon, where can they find us?
All platforms with Enterprise Empress.
Enterprise Empress.
Yep. Yes. And if you enjoyed today's show with Delilah and Melissa, a part of Women's History Month is highlighting just women around the world and in our community. So go to our YouTube page, subscribe, and connect with other women. A lot of times we're focused on the end result and the vision, but we miss the process. So interviewing these ladies helps us connect with each other during the process and stay, motivated as we get to our goals. So thank you, ladies, for being on our show.
Yes, thank you all so much for joining us.
Welcome.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Until next time.
Okay. Bye.